You're standing in the kitchen, holding your phone, and you have no idea why you walked in here. It'll come back in 10 minutes. It always does. But for now, there's just a blank space where the thought used to be. That happened last week too, and the week before, in a meeting, when the name of a woman you've worked with for 6 years simply wasn't there. You're not imagining it. And it isn't the beginning of something frightening. This channel is for educational purposes and reflects my 20 years as a holistic wellness practitioner. It isn't medical advice. Always work with your healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment of any condition. In my practice, brain fog is one of the most common things women bring me in their 40s and 50s, and one of the most dismissed. They've been told it's stress. They've been told it's just aging. What almost no one tells them is that some of what's happening in the brain is being driven from the gut. By the end of this, you'll understand 3 ways the fiber you eat changes what's happening inside your head, and what to do about it starting with your next meal. Let's start with what's actually shifting. Estrogen isn't only a reproductive hormone. It has receptors throughout your brain, and it plays a direct role in how neurons use glucose for fuel. As estrogen declines through perimenopause, brain energy metabolism changes measurably. This has been imaged in research. The fog isn't a story you're telling yourself. It has a physical correlate. Estrogen also acts as an anti-inflammatory in the brain. As it falls, that brake comes off, and the brain's immune cells, the microglia, become more reactive. More reactive microglia means more low-grade neuroinflammation. And neuroinflammation feels like exactly what you're feeling: slow retrieval, effortful thinking, a lag between the question and the answer. Here's the part that connects to your gut. Estrogen doesn't just leave your body, it gets recycled, and a specific community of gut bacteria, the estrobolome, governs that recycling. When your microbiome is thriving, that process is orderly. When it isn't, estrogen levels swing harder than they need to. So the hormonal transition and the gut are not 2 separate stories. They're the same story. This is also why the usual response fails. When your brain feels slow, the instinct is more coffee. Caffeine doesn't touch inflammation or glucose metabolism. It borrows alertness from your afternoon and charges interest. It's a stimulant applied to a metabolic and inflammatory problem. Which brings us to fiber, specifically prebiotic fiber. Not fiber for regularity. Fiber as food for the bacteria that produce the compounds your brain runs on. Your gut lining is 1 cell thick. 1. Between everything in your digestive tract and your bloodstream. Those cells are held together by tight junctions. Think grout between tiles. When the grout holds, the barrier is selective. Nutrients through. Everything else stays put. When it loosens, bacterial fragments called endotoxins slip into circulation. Your immune system responds. Inflammatory signaling rises body-wide, and the blood-brain barrier, which has tight junctions of its own, responds to that same systemic inflammation by becoming more permeable. That's the leaky brain idea you may have heard. I want to be careful here. This is a real and active area of research, and it's also heavily oversold by supplement companies. What's well established is that systemic inflammation affects cognition. The precise pathway is still being mapped. Here's where fiber comes in. Certain bacteria, bifidobacteria especially, ferment prebiotic fiber and produce butyrate. Butyrate is the primary fuel source for the cells lining your colon. Feed those cells properly, and they maintain their junctions. Starve them, and they don't. The mechanism is almost boring in how direct it is. You eat the fiber, the bacteria eat the fiber. What they make feeds the wall that keeps inflammation out. That same butyrate does something else once it enters circulation. BDNF is essentially fertilizer for neurons. It supports the growth of new connections and the survival of existing ones. It's central to learning and memory. Short-chain fatty acids from fiber fermentation appear to support BDNF expression. Exercise raises BDNF too, which is one reason movement and fiber compound rather than compete. Then there's serotonin. Around 90% of your body's serotonin is made in the gut, and I want to be precise because this fact gets stretched. Gut serotonin doesn't cross into the brain. What it does is regulate motility and signal along the vagus nerve, the direct line between your gut and your brainstem. Certain gut bacteria also produce GABA, your primary calming neurotransmitter. The mood fog overlap your women describe isn't coincidence. It's shared infrastructure. And here's the piece I'd fold in rather than treat separately, because it's the same chemistry. Prebiotic fiber slows glucose absorption. That afternoon crash, the 2 o'clock wall where thinking becomes waiting, that's a glucose curve. And a brain already struggling to use fuel efficiently because estrogen has declined is far less forgiving of a spike and crash. Fiber flattens the curve. Steady fuel, steady thinking. 3 mechanisms. 1 substrate. That's the part worth remembering. A woman came to me, 46, running a business, sharp her entire life. She'd started keeping a notes file on her phone for words she couldn't retrieve. She'd been to her doctor. Blood work was fine. She was told it was stress and offered an antidepressant. She wasn't depressed. She was frightened because she'd watched her mother's mind go, and she'd started doing math. We didn't do anything dramatic. We looked at what she was eating, which was, as it often is with busy, health-conscious women, protein-heavy, low-fiber, coffee-driven. We added plants, onion and garlic in cooking, oats in the morning, a green banana in her smoothie, beans she'd been avoiding because she thought they'd make her bloat. 6 weeks later, she told me the notes file was still on her phone, but she'd stopped opening it. That's the shape of it. Not a transformation. A lifting. 2 things. The first is that this is a supplement problem. It usually isn't. Prebiotic powders have a place, but the research consistently favors dietary diversity. Different fibers feed different bacteria, and no capsule matches what a varied plate does. The second is speed. Bifidobacteria populations respond to prebiotic fiber within days to a couple of weeks. That part is fast. Cognitive symptoms are slower and less predictable. In my practice, women tend to notice something around the 4 to 6 week mark, and it's rarely a moment. It's noticing you didn't lose the word. Anyone promising you a 2-week cognitive fix is selling you something. And one honest caveat, if you go from low fiber to high fiber quickly, you will feel worse before better. Gas, bloating, discomfort. That's fermentation, not failure, but it's avoidable. Go slowly. 3 tiers. Start at the first one. Start here. 1 addition this week. Half a cup of oats or a handful of beans, or onion and garlic in whatever you're already cooking. 1 thing, no supplements, no shopping trip. Then, widen the range. The specific fibers with the strongest evidence for bifidobacteria are inulin and FOS. Onions, garlic, leeks, asparagus, chicory root, Jerusalem artichoke, GOS, legumes, and beta-glucan, oats and barley. Resistant starch, green bananas, cooked then cooled potatoes and rice is worth adding too. You don't need to memorize this. Rotate the sources. Then, protect the timeline. Increase by roughly 5 grams a week, not 50 overnight. Drink more water as fiber goes up. Fiber without water makes constipation worse, not better. Give it 6 weeks before you judge it. If there's one thing to carry out of this, The fog is not a character flaw, and it's not a verdict. It's a signal from a system under strain, and one of the levers on that system is sitting in your produce drawer right now. I go much deeper on this in the Women's Gut Health Bible, Chapter 5 for the hormone connection, Chapter 3 for the fiber itself. Your gut has been trying to tell you something. Learning to listen. That's where everything else begins.